Welcome to the PlayAbly podcast. This episode is brought to you by PlayAbly Ads, where we turn your marketing into an interactive, game-based experience that engages customers and boosts conversions. And here's something special. Mention this podcast when you book a free demo on our website, and you'll get your first month free. Visit playably.ai to learn more and schedule your demo. Welcome back to the PlayAbly podcast. This is episode 3 of our Black Friday Cyber Monday series. And today we're meeting with Gabby.
Hey, Kajo. Thanks for having me back. I can't even believe it's already November.
That's obviously got us thinking about Black Friday. Black Friday is the biggest time of the year for most e-commerce companies. We've seen this time and time again. Some companies do 70%, 80% of their sales during this time. There's discounts everywhere. There's new product. There's limited time offers. People need to buy people presents. It is just a big expected shopping.
Yeah, for sure. It is definitely the busiest season of the year for 95% of our brands.
But this year is different, right?
Yes, it is different. Mostly because Black Friday, Cyber Monday falls on the last days of November. Black Friday is going to be on November 29th, which pushes Cyber Monday to December, which doesn't usually happen. So think about all of the brands that are planning for November. They're actually waiting all November to start seeing the increase in sales. So it's definitely throwing off forecasting and planning. It's not something that brands should rely on this year. There's other initiatives they can do though to help balance the traffic they're not going to be getting mid-November. One thing I don't want to forget, not only is Black Friday, Cyber Monday later in November, but that also shortens the period between Thanksgiving and Christmas, which we call the gifting period. So you're losing a week in December. That's usually a very busy week where people immediately after Thanksgiving and Black Friday start shopping for gifts. So that's also something you need to consider this year.
And I think that's a really big deal because a lot of people don't shop early or they put it off. You need to incentivize them to shop early. There's going to be so much competition in that space, but also e-commerce shipping times. You have to include making sure that you order early enough to ship. So I know you've been working on this with a lot of our brands. What is the strategy for this year? What could brands be doing to have a successful Black Friday, Cyber Monday?
So I think the number one thing to remember is don't wait until the last minute. But the big thing we're focusing on this year is user engagement. It's a very competitive time. People are shopping, but not only are more people shopping, every brand has promotions. So it's very hard to compete. If you're not doing something to stand out or taking an innovative approach, it's going to be hard to beat the competition. This year, what we are doing, it's two things. I know you guys already talked about the advent calendar on a previous podcast, but along with that, we're also using playable ads instead of just the usual static or video ads to focus on increasing user engagement and brand recognition from that either new market or returning users.
Before we get too deep into playable ads, what is a playable ad?
A playable ad is an actual ad. Let's think about the usual static or video ad that you see on Meta, Instagram, Google platforms. But instead of being an image or a video, it's an actual game that lets users interact with you. It sometimes, depending on the brand, lets you try the product before you even click on the ad that's going to take you to the landing page. So it gives them a little sneak peek of what your brand is or what the product they're buying is. How is that going to help them or how are they going to benefit from the product? And because of that, it increases user engagement. So not only you're seeing click-through rate increase from your paid media platforms because users are engaging more with your ad more in a playful way instead of just clicking to buy. They're actually enjoying a game and playing. But once they land on that landing page that also has the game, we are seeing not only in the session duration increase, but also a conversion rate increase.
And
And
the email sign up, right?
and that's very important for Black Friday and Cyber Monday. So the playable ads are not something we're starting specifically for Black Friday and Cyber Monday. It's something that we are starting to implement for most of our brands next week. So the second week of November. This way we have a big enough and engaged audience by the time the Black Friday and Cyber Monday sales start. We can then send them promotional emails or create retargeting campaigns based on their previous engagement with that playable ad.
How does the playable ad increase engagement? Yes, they click on the ad and go to the page, but what is it about the playable ad that makes it work, that makes it stand out?
It's an interactive experience. Think about your shopping experiences. Let's say you're browsing through whatever platform you use the most. Thousands of ads that are just pictures or videos. Most of the time, you just keep scrolling. A playable ad is much more interactive. It's inviting you to do something more than just shopping. You're actually getting to try or have an experience with the brand before you even click or are taken to the brand's website. So you're actually playing a game. It's a fun experience. It creates a deeper connection with that brand because of that fun experience and that memorable experience. What we usually see is increased engagement because you're top of mind for that consumer versus 100 other competitors they might also be considering when shopping for specific products.
And I can see this working really well, especially for brands that have that educational edge. They have a complicated product or special ingredients that they really need to teach people about, or at least get it in front of the users. So I know that we've done some games.
We have a very fun game. It's a friends trivia game for Central Perk, which sells the Friends branded coffee. We're asking people questions about different seasons of Friends. If they get it right, they get a certain percentage off. So let's say it's 5 questions. If they get 2 out of the 5 correct, they're not getting anything off. 3 out of 5 correct, they get 10% off. 4 out of 5, 15% off. 5 questions out of 5, they get 20% off and a free bag of coffee. So that's how we're educating people towards a brand and creating that fun experience that keeps your brand top of mind.
Yeah, and it's challenging as well. Getting 5 out of 5. I think everybody would try and try again. So they got the 5 out of 5, which means they're spending even longer on your site if they're allowed to replay the game. I could see that people would want to share that as well and say, hey, I got 5 out of 5 on this thing. People love sharing their knowledge on social media. So I think it could also bring in more traffic that way, not even from your ad. But let's talk about the performance of the playable ads. How does it compare to static ads? What have we seen?
We have seen a 15% increase in click through rate for live playable ads. Once on the page, we see a 10 to 20% increase in session duration, meaning people are more engaged. The highest conversion rate seen is 25%, meaning people who play the game converting more. An interesting thing we're seeing is that not only are people converting more, but their average order value is also higher. We see an average order value increase of 10 to 12%.
And imagine since we have more people converting and giving their email or contact information so that we could do that segmentation and remarketing, it would also lead to a longer LTV.
Very good point. So not only are we creating a segment within their email platform, we're creating sub-segments based on the questions they're answering. An example of a sub-segment for email is persona-based games where the questions lead into a different landing page that speaks to their motives and behavior. Based on their questions, we're able to create subsegments within their email platform and create very targeted emails for that kind of persona.
What are some other examples of games that we've made that what are your favorites?
I think my personal favorite is the Plinko game. I used to love playing that growing up. The Plinko game is also very easy for people to understand. It can be used for a variety of different cases, such as product discovery or just user engagement. You can also have different incentives with the Plinko game. If the customer keeps playing, you can give them more and more discounts if they engage more with your brand. My current personal favorite is also the advent calendar. We created a really nice Mont Blanc advent calendar. Within that, we have different games every day. So we have quizzes. We also have the Plinko game. There's a memory game within that advent calendar. I think my preference would be it depends on what you're using it for. For fashion brands, for example, if you're launching collections every season, I would say a memory game would be a nice product discovery game because you're showing new products as they're playing the games.
What can brands do to get started if they're interested in playable ads this Black Friday season?
Contact us. We have a very busy November. We have 10 brands that are going live next week with playable ads. As soon as we get you in, we can usually get you a playable ad within 4 to 5 days. You still have time to get out there and have those playable ads set up and going by mid-November.
You heard it, folks. If you are lacking on your Black Friday plans or you're looking for a way to stand out, drive more traffic, increase your conversions, give us a call. Thanks, Gabby, for joining us and for sharing your knowledge about playable ads. This is a really exciting idea.
Awesome. Thank you, Kajo. I'm excited to be here again. And good luck, everyone, during this Black Friday, Cyber Monday.
Thanks for tuning in to the PlayAbly podcast. Ready to engage your customers like never before? PlayAbly turns your website into an interactive experience that drives results. Don't forget, mention the podcast during your free demo and get your first month free. Book now at playably.ai.